Okay, yep. Yep. Good morning, Ubers of the tube. My friends, my family, my... What's up? Today, I'm gonna fix this real quick. Hold up. We're gonna try and do that. Oh. Hey, okay. Today, I thought I'd do something a little bit different than the other, 4 videos that I have out? Yeah, sorry about that. I'm gonna talk about something that's kind of personal. Basically, the whole thing is why I want to do this is I want to be able to help somebody. I'm gonna talk about anxiety. It's something that I deal with. I've been dealing with it my whole life, ever since I was a little girl. I never knew what it was really, but it's when I'm looking back at it now, I can realize that, oh, yep, that was anxiety. Yep, makes sense. Basically, when I was little, I would never be able to fall asleep. I would always have this restless feeling in my legs. Like, I still get it every now and then, but like once you lay down, you feel like you just need to stretch, or you need to run, or you need to move. Like your legs, like it's just like in the back of your legs, and you can feel it, and it's just so uncomfortable. That's kind of an early sign, I think, of anxiety. Just going out, my mom always made me very aware that people were looking at me, and that people liked the way that I looked. People were staring at me, people think I'm cute, something like that. Just made me very aware that people were looking at me, and that's not cool, man. That ingrained in my head. I was always looking around, and I would notice that people were staring, and maybe it's just because, yeah, you look around, you glance at people, and like you might catch them looking. I don't know, maybe it's harmless, maybe people are staring, maybe they're fucking weirdos and psychos, and I'm right, and like everything is like validated, but most of the time, no, that's not the case. When it first started getting like really noticeable was in middle school, and I would just miss a shit ton of school. I just never wanted to go. Like I liked my friends, I liked my classes, I was in orchestra, I was in chorus, I was in the musical. I liked to do all that stuff. I was in art class. I liked school, but I could never find myself being able to fall asleep the night before or being able to wake up the morning for school. I would always just freak myself out basically and just pretend to be sick. Eventually, I had missed so much school to where I got pulled out and I was gonna start homeschooling, and it was like an online thing. Yeah, I never really did that. I didn't have the responsibility to be self-accountable, is the word maybe? I don't know, to actually make sure that I'm actually doing the school. So eventually I had to go back to actual public school. I finished out the rest of middle school, barely graduated. I don't think I was supposed to graduate. I think they just kind of like shooed me on in there, like with the No Kid Left Behind act, something like that. I made it to high school somehow. I don't know. High school is when it really got bad, because it's a bigger school, a lot more older kids, really intimidating. But again, for the most part, I liked it. I liked being able to get dressed and look kind of cute for school, like seeing my friends. I was in orchestra and chorus, and I tried out for the plays, and I did the makeup for the plays, and I loved doing all that. That's when, like, I started getting actual, like, panic attacks. And it would start most of the time at night, and I would just start feeling it in my chest, and I would end up feeling in my neck as well. I would feel like I'm choking, and I feel like I can't breathe, so I would start hyperventilating, and then I'd start crying, and I just, basically, throughout my whole freshman year, I would just wake up my dad sobbing in the middle of the night, and he'd just be like, it's okay, like, you don't gotta go to school, like, calm down, you're fine. Things I will do while having an attack, sometimes I can't see, sometimes I can't hear, sometimes I'm sobbing uncontrollably, sometimes I'll stop breathing, sometimes I'll feel like I can't breathe, and sometimes I'll hit myself, no matter what you do while you have a panic attack, like, I know everyone's different. These are just things that happen to me when I have them sometimes. Um, just know you're not crazy. And so I was just missing a lot of school, and with that, I wasn't seeing my friends at all, and they were confused and they were worried, but I wasn't telling them anything. And I would end up lying about some things, and I'd be like, oh, I'm out of the state. I'm gonna go get a horse. I'm visiting family. I'm extremely sick. Something like that. I would just say anything but the truth, and that in the end is what really messed me up, because just honesty is so important. Um, but once I finally opened up and told my friends what was going on, um, they didn't really want to hear it. They said, well, they literally, I kid you not, they literally said, well, we don't care anymore. After I finally sent them a huge paragraph, and you see, that's such a shitty thing for them to do, but then again, it was also so shitty of me to keep them out of my life as well, because they were also going through similar things, and I didn't know that, and they didn't know what was going on with me, so really we could have helped each other out if there was that communication there. Then sophomore year, I tried to get a new start, tried to keep going to school. I remember I made it a week straight. I showed up for 5 days, and I was extremely proud of myself. And I should have, yeah, that was a thing for me to be proud of, because there wasn't a week that I would go by without missing, like, at least 2 days. So if I made it through a week, that was awesome for me. But then something happened to me, and I got involved with someone, and I'm not gonna go too much into it, but it really fucked me up. It messed me up extremely bad emotionally, and I had to go through some things that I don't wish anyone would have to go through. But that just made all the anxiety so much worse, and it made my depression so much worse, and I was suicidal. And eventually, I remember I came downstairs and I told my dad, I said, how do I stop from wanting to kill myself? And, like, I had no other way to say it, really. It was the first thing that I had said to my dad that whole week, like, but I had to say it, and I remember his face so much, and it's so heartbreaking, but the way that he helped me when I finally said something, like, it was amazing. Like, he was willing to do whatever he could to help me, and so that's why it's just so important to be honest and tell how you're feeling. Be honest with yourself, tell yourself how you're feeling, and tell others how you're feeling. Be honest with the whole situation. After I told him that, I started going to therapy. I started trying out medications, and the medications didn't work. I would end up going on one medication, they'd raise the dose, and then it wouldn't work, so then they'd lower the dose, and then have me on that one, and on a different medication, and then slowly get off the one medication, and then slowly raise the other medication, and so it was just like an up and down thing of all these different medications, and I honestly feel like it messed me up more, and I don't want that to scare you guys from, like, looking into medications and prescriptions and stuff like that, because they do help people, and they are, like, they do wonders. Like, we have a chemical imbalance, and we don't have what some people do have, and we just need a little bit more help, and there's no shame in that. It's just finding the right thing that helps you, and everyone's different. Sophomore year, I dropped out of high school. I started just being a depressed piece of shit, basically. I wouldn't leave bed. I couldn't do anything. I didn't shower. I felt useless. I felt worthless. But then that's when I started going to church, actually. Surprising. And just being able to get out in, like, a healthy, like, happy, encouraging environment for the most part, was such a great thing for me. Honestly, it was such a great escape. Um, of course, things happened there to make it not such a pleasant experience anymore. We won't go into that yet, I guess. Another video, maybe? Yeah, another video. Kind of ties in with what I was talking about earlier. Just having an escape and having like a social thing with friends and being able to do that just helped me out so much. And I started to work. I worked at this place called Ponderosa. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Shit. And it was fun. I made friends there. I actually liked it. And I remember once on my way to work, I finally thought, like, damn, I don't think I want to die. And, like, I just started to cry because I hadn't felt like that in a really long time. But with the highs, there are lows. But with the lows, there are highs. You know, it's all a growing process. I ended up falling back into my depression and my anxiety. I started not being able to show up to work. I started having panic attacks before work and at work, and having them at work is so like belittling almost. Like it just feels like everyone's like, what the fuck's wrong with her, like what's going on, like what, but really like people are just concerned. People like care about you, and if they don't, then they don't, like whatever, fuck them, like it doesn't matter, like you're what's important. I quit that job and then moved to a different job, and again I was having really bad anxiety, so I ended up losing that job because I called in too many times because of my anxiety, and that's been happening. I haven't been able to hold a job because of it, and it really sucks. But honestly, I can feel myself growing and I can feel myself getting stronger. I don't have as many panic attacks anymore. Anxiety can also take a physical toll on you. I remember I was just so overworked and so overwhelmed with it. I was working at Buffalo Wild Wings and I was a waitress, so I was just running around dealing with customers, talking to constant people, going in the kitchen, just literally just always communicating with somebody. And that's not for me, no. I started getting wrist pains. I had no idea why. Turns out, stress can cause your wrist to hurt really bad. But I would have constant chest pains as well, to where even if I was just hanging out with friends, it was still there. Like, it was always there, and that had never been a problem. So if you deal with any of that, just know that there might be something in your life that you gotta stop. There might be something that you gotta change. And once you do, once you get rid of it, it will be such a relief. And you'll be able to finally breathe and be comfortable. And I really hope all of you are able to do that and get rid of your demons, get rid of anything that's holding you back. It's happening maybe because there's something in your life that shouldn't be there, or maybe it's something, maybe you're worried about something, but either way, you gotta talk about it. You gotta say what's on your mind. You gotta realize that you're not insane, and realize that there are ways to help, and there are ways out, and there are ways to get better. And I love you all. All freaking, like, 10 of you that are here. So the whole working thing started into more of a social anxiety thing. And that's kind of what it was like from the get-go. But I started working at Walmart, right? So eventually, after I got fired from there, I was too nervous to go to Walmart. I was too nervous to go to any store because there was a bunch of people. It just reminded me of work. It reminded me how I felt while I was at work. So I couldn't go to the store alone. I had to bring a friend with me, and even then I would freak out. I hated big crowds. I hated the feeling of people looking at you, or knowing that people are looking at you, knowing that people can look at you if they want. Like, just all of that just freaked me out, and that's why I have Lexus now. She helps me get through it a lot. People more so notice her than they notice me, and that's kind of makes it easier. If I need a little furry thing to cuddle, like if I'm freaking out in a store, then I got that, and that's amazing. She's right here. I don't know if you can see her. There was this one time, to go with like kind of the social anxiety thing, I was at this tattoo piercing place with my friend, and she was getting her tits pierced. I was in this tiny room with her, right, and she was like, I could almost feel the pain that she was going through, and for some reason I felt like I was the one that caused it, because I encouraged her to do it. I was like, yeah, it's totally worth it, whatever, and I felt so bad. Like, I remember my heart just dropping as soon as, like, I heard her, like, feel like she's in pain. Like, that was kind of the trigger of it all, I guess. And then the curtain opened, and there was a lot more people than there was before. And I remember we walked up to the desk, and then all of a sudden my ears started ringing, and I couldn't hear anything. I could just hear this ringing. Then all of a sudden I couldn't hear the ringing anymore. And all of a sudden my vision just went to like tunnel vision, and then it went completely black. And I couldn't see anything, I couldn't hear anything, but then all of a sudden I started thinking, I'm alone. Like, she's done checking out. I'm alone. She just left me. I'm standing here alone. I look ridiculous. Like, I just kept thinking, I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. You need to move. So I turn around. I still can't see. But, so I'm literally, like, walking with my hands. I'm trying to feel for my friend so I can touch her back. And I walk right into this lady, damn near fucking feel her up. My vision comes back slightly, and I can see her. She's just looking at me like, what the fuck? What is this bitch on? Like, on me? Like, what the fuck? I thought I was gonna get decked in the face, basically. And the cashier was like, are you okay? And I was just like, no. And, like, the bitch laughed. Like, bitch, why are you laughing at me? My friend quick grabbed me, and I almost fell over. And she grabbed me, and we went outside, and she had to hold me up because I was about to, like, fall. And we got the fresh air, and we were fine. But that was the first time that had ever happened to me, and I was really confused as to why it was happening. That kind of thing has happened 2 other times since. One at my ex's house when I was standing in his kitchen, and one at my ex's brother's house when I was standing in their living room. And then another happened while I was at work, and I ended up actually falling over and hitting my head, and I had to fill out this whole accident report thing, and it all just felt so ridiculous. I just wanted to go home. I didn't want to, they had to give me like this walker thing. I also would find myself getting a lot of anxiety when I was with new guys. Like, if I was hanging out with a new guy, trying a new thing, I would end up panicking, and then I would sometimes end up having a panic attack right in front of them, and that was always so embarrassing. But like, they were always so sweet about it and always so nice, but like, you never want someone really to see you like that. It's not something to be ashamed of at all, but in the moment it doesn't really make it feel any better having someone right there that you don't really maybe trust or think is gonna like you after this. I wouldn't get it with all men though. I don't get it with my boyfriend now. He makes me feel safe. If I have a panic attack, he always calms me through it. He'll play with my hair, he'll rub my back. He's the best. He's the best. So don't let oh, that was gross. Don't let your fears get in the way of, like, don't let them stop you from trying new things and meeting new people, because there are great people out there and that will make you feel safe and comfortable. I think the most important thing with all of this is just that you be honest with yourself and with others, and just let people know how you feel. Like, you don't have to be ashamed of it. I think everyone deals with anxiety to a certain extent. Some is worse than others, some is just little minor normal anxiety, but either way, everyone deals with it, and we deal with it in our own way. I think just lying and trying to hide it is what makes it worse, honestly. It's so important to take your time to realize, like, when you need to take a step back, when you need to take a breath, and really just to keep your mindfulness. You guys probably already heard about the app. This isn't sponsored. I am not relevant enough to be sponsored. There's an app called Headspace, and they can help you with meditation and like stuff like that, and they send out notifications to you throughout the day of just little mindful thoughts, and it helped me a lot, honestly. They just basically throw out, like, remember to breathe before you stand up. Like, breathe. If you stand up, notice how it makes you feel. Notice the change in your body. Before you open a door, breathe. Before, like, as you open the door, breathe. Like, take a moment outside to just take a break. Like, it's a great thing, so I recommend it to basically everyone, so go get it if you deal with this shit. Please be patient with yourself. Be patient with others. Be patient with the situation, because so many situations are temporary, and there's so many easy fixes, sometimes hard fixes, but they're all worth it if you just take your time, if you just take your breath. Just love yourself, okay? Because the whole point of this video is to let you know that you're not alone. If you're going through stuff like this, you're not the only one. I remember when I was going through this, and when it first started, I really could have used, like, knowledge that there's other people out there like me, and that I wasn't insane. Either way, knowing that you're not alone is the first step, and taking time is so important. And just love yourself. If any of you guys have anxiety or depression or anything really that you deal with, feel free to use the comment section to tell your story, to help others. Please, 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 if people tell their stories, please be positive, and please don't put each other down for it. Remember, everyone's different. We all go through different shit. We all deal with it differently. But I think it's super important to either way talk about it. Just getting it out in the air, just typing it out, just anything just makes it feel so much better, honestly. It's insane. It's like a literal load off of you. So feel free to use the comment section to encourage each other, to love each other. That's what I want this to be. I want this to be a good environment for y'all to be able to escape for a second. This isn't going to be my normal content. I'm going to try and make more happy and funny videos, I guess, so you guys can have more of an escape. But I just wanted to get this out there so you guys know, again, you're not alone. I'm here for you. I'm going to try and reply to the comments. I'll give you my best advice. I think later on I'm going to make a coping video with ideas how to deal with anxiety or depression, and how to just get through everyday life, and how I somehow made it to 21 years old when I never thought I would make it past 16. I just want all of you guys to be happy and see this as a safe place. I think that's where I'm going to end this video. I really hope this helped you. If it didn't, again, this isn't going to be my normal content. I'm going to try and keep it more positive, and not that this wasn't very positive. Like, I tried to keep this positive and uplifting and stuff and hopeful, but the rest of my content, I'm gonna be a weird slob, and hopefully you guys will like me for it. I don't know. But again, okay, I love you. Thanks for watching, and